Hey guys, it's Alyssa here over at Books and Cats. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello. Yes, this bookcase is empty. If you've been around for a while, you're probably wondering, why is the bookcase that you sometimes, most of the time, sit in front of empty? Well, this, as you can probably tell from the title, which I've probably titled, basically I only have one small bookcase that isn't packed. And the reason that it isn't packed is, well, the reason that the others are packed is because I'm moving. Yeah, I'm moving like 1,000 miles away. Yeah, I'm moving by the end of May. Less than 2 months. I'm terrified. So, yeah, not gonna be fun. Kind of wanted to update you guys as to why I haven't posted in a while, because it's been kind of hectic and I just haven't been feeling great. Just wanted to tell you that content over the next several months might be sketch, because not only will I be in the process of moving, like a long haul move, but on top of it, I will be living with people for like a couple months at least, so content might be a little all over the place. I'll try to pre-film as much as I can, but as I said back in October when I had planned to do that, that didn't even work out. So I will try to do as much as I possibly can. So sorry this is being uploaded late. Again, I just didn't feel like filming. I read 8 things in the month of March, which is pretty good, which is like top notch for me. I'm not doing it in any particular order of when I read it, because a lot of these I got from NetGalley, and to have to cross-examine between Goodreads and whatever, I'm just not going to do that because I don't have physical copies of any of these books. So I'm just gonna tell you what I read. I do know what I read first, and the first book that I read in March was Big Mushy Happy Lump by Sarah Anderson. This is like the second book in her like Sarah Scribbles collection series. I don't know. Basically, they're just individual comics about being a young person nowadays, and they're hilarious. Highly relatable. Give it 4 out of 5 stars. Next thing that I read was The Little Mermaid by Metafrog. It's basically the original fairy tale of The Little Mermaid retold in like a graphic novel version, and it has really pretty artwork. It's really pretty. I ended up giving it a 3.5 out of 5 stars because it was a great way for me to read the actual fairy tale, which is grim. It's not Disney, as most of you probably know. It's not that original fairy tale, and it was kind of a nice way to read it and kind of still enjoy it and have it be visually pleasing. Another book that I read was Ivy in Bloom. I don't know if you can see that, but it is by Vanita Olschlager, I don't know that word, and illustrated by Kristen Blackwood. Basically, it is about a girl who is waiting for spring to come, and it pulls from a bunch of different poems, so it's still kind of like poetry, and it pulls from a bunch of different poems, and at the end of the book it actually gives you the original poems and who it's by, and it was just cute. I would really consider it like a picture book, but it was, I believe under the poetry section on NetGalley. So I was like kind of confused. 3.5 out of 5 stars, because again, it was cute. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I really don't have any complaints. The artwork was super cute. Get my least favorite book of the month out of the way because I hated this book. Okay, and that book is Snowblind. I don't even know who it's by. Ollie Masters and Tyler Jenkins. I believe I gave this a 2 stars rating because I literally could not be bothered to even tell you what this is about. It's like a mystery murder type thing, and it's so boring. Like the second you read it, you already forget what you read. It was so transparent that like when I started, I'm like, oh, this would be probably what a super predictable ending would be, which sometimes, you know, is good, but not in this sense. And like the artwork for me is so subpar that I was like, okay, well at least if the storyline's really good then I can get with it. But that wasn't even good. Like the storyline and the artwork were both garbage. The only reason I didn't give it 1 star is because I really reserve those ratings for things I absolutely loathe. So that's why it's not 1 star. Well, I'm gonna talk about the one book that I didn't get from NetGalley that I actually borrowed from the library, the one and only book I read for Borrowathon. Yeah, I said I was gonna vlog and then I didn't really read anything, so I was like, what's the point? What's the point of vlogging when I'm not reading anything? One book that I did read though was Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians by Brandon Sanderson. It was a good book. Looking back on it, it was so cool at the time and I really enjoyed it. So that's why I gave it like a 3.5 stars. But I don't really want to continue the series. Like the more I think about it, I'm just like, I really don't want to go back to it. Like I think I looked at the plot of the second one and I was like, oh, okay. I really don't care. So it was weird. While I enjoyed the reading experience, I don't really want to continue with the rest of the series. Next book that I'm going to be talking about is Neon Soul by Alexandra L. Oh my god. This poetry collection, it's one of those poetry collections that took me a little bit to get into for some reason, and I don't know why. It took me a little bit to get into, kind of took me a little bit to get used to it, and then once I got into it, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. This was the month for poetry. It was just breathtaking. I think the farther in I got, the more it just really started hitting me, and I love how it talked about different kinds of love, because a lot of poetry nowadays just talks about like love, like, you know, like dating and relationship love, but like there's other kinds of love, and I think that's what I liked about this, is that it explored that and talked about that, and it talked about self-care and how that's important, and I just really love the messages in it, and I just thought it was beautiful, and it just was great. It was beautiful. I loved it. The only reason I didn't give it a full 5 stars was because, again, it did take me a little bit to get into, but it was good. There are children talking outside my window. Go away. The next thing that I read, which was hands down my favorite thing that I read in March, Stuff I've Been Feeling Lately by Alicia Cook. Oh my god! This poetry collection was beautiful. I loved it. It flowed so well, and it had this almost stream-like quality to it, which like the poetry that I've been reading hasn't. Like there are things where you can like kind of connect. I mean, it's not a novel, so it's not the same thing, but this one just flowed so well, and it just felt like it was continuous, and it was the kind of thing where I had to keep kind of putting down for a little bit because I was enjoying it like so much, and I would like think about it. I would like have to put it down and be like, whoa, that was so good. The first side is actually, that got released a while ago. Side A got released a while ago. And then side B is what's being re-released. I think it already came out, or it comes out like next week, like April 11th or something like that. I don't know, sometime next week. And it was blackout poetry, which I've never read before, and it was so cool. I think that's what drove the collection home for me, was this blackout poetry, and it was so cool, and I loved it. It was beautiful. Like, I'm still thinking about it. Like, you know it's good when you're like still thinking about the fact that you read it. It's just, it touched my soul. Like Neon Soul and this were probably my favorite books of March. They were beautiful. If you're looking for a poetry collection, pick up this one and Neon Soul. Wonderful. Absolutely 100% wonderful. And surprisingly, this was my least favorite poetry collection out of the ones that I read. But that one was The Princess Saves Herself in This One by Amanda Lovelace. I'm not going to hold it up because my arm's getting tired. This one I enjoyed. It's funny. I don't think I'm comparing it, but I read that one first and then I read all of the other ones, and I'm like, that was like my least favorite one. I just thought the writing wasn't as good. Now that I look back on it, probably more of like a 3.75. I think it's enjoyable and I think it has good messages, but it's not sticking with me, which is interesting because I thought it would. And there was so much hype about it, and there's still so much hype about it, and everybody's talking about it, and now I'm just like kind of sitting back and I'm like, yeah, wasn't my favorite of the month. Again, I still think it's a solid collection, and if you're looking for good poetry, I would still suggest it. So those are the 8 things that I read in March that I don't own. I owned none of them. None of them whatsoever. I think the 4th or 5th of April, and I still haven't read anything. That's all I got for today. If you guys enjoyed any of these books, let me know down below. Even if you didn't like them, let me know down below. Tips for keeping sane while moving, that would be appreciated. And that's all I got. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!